If you've ever replayed a 5-second conversation for 3 straight hours, if you've written an apology text, deleted it, rewritten it, and then never sent it at all, you already know exactly who this video is about. I'm George, and this is George Knows Why. Today we're breaking down the psychology of overthinkers, the people whose brains never seem to have an off switch. Overthinking isn't the same as thinking deeply. Deep thinkers solve problems. Overthinkers replay them. Psychologists call this rumination, a loop of repetitive, negative thought that circles a problem without ever landing on a solution. It feels productive. It feels like you're being careful, responsible, thorough, but the brain isn't actually working toward an answer. It's just spinning the same wheel, faster and faster, wearing a groove into the same worry. There are two main flavors of this. The first is called brooding, dwelling on how bad a situation is, why it happened, what it says about you. The second is reflection, trying to understand a problem so you can act on it. Reflection can be healthy. Brooding almost never is. And here's the twist. Most chronic overthinkers believe they're doing the second one when they're actually doing the first. So why would evolution give us a brain that punishes us like this? Because for most of human history, anxious vigilance kept people alive. The ancestor who obsessively scanned for danger, who replayed the rustling bush in the grass long after the threat was gone, was more likely to survive the next one. Overthinking is a threat detection system that never got the memo that the threat is over. There's also a personality piece. Research on the trait called Neuroticism, one of the big 5 personality dimensions, shows that people who score high on it experience emotions more intensely and for longer. Their nervous system doesn't just notice a problem, it holds on to it, replays it, amplifies it. Combine that with high intelligence or high conscientiousness, and you get a mind that's excellent at generating possibilities, including the possibility that everything is about to go wrong. Overthinkers tend to lean on a specific set of mental habits, and once you can name them, you start seeing them everywhere. Catastrophizing, jumping from "I made a typo in that email" to "I'm going to get fired" in about 4 seconds flat. Mind reading, assuming you know exactly what someone else is thinking about you, usually something negative, with zero actual evidence. Perfectionism, the belief that there's one correct decision, and if you just think hard enough, long enough, you'll find it. Spoiler, for most decisions in life, there isn't one correct answer. There's just a decision, followed by what you do with it. And underneath all 3 of these sits something simpler, a deep discomfort with uncertainty. Overthinking is often the mind's attempt to manufacture certainty in a situation that simply doesn't offer any. The problem is, thinking harder doesn't create certainty. It just creates more thoughts. Here's what the research shows this actually does to a person over time. Chronic ruminators report higher rates of anxiety and depression, and it's not just correlation. Studies following people over time show that rumination predicts the later onset of depressive symptoms, not just the other way around. Overthinking also hijacks decision-making itself. There's a well-known phenomenon called analysis paralysis. The more options and information a mind tries to juggle, the harder it becomes to actually choose anything at all. The overthinker, ironically, often makes worse decisions than someone who trusted their gut in the first place simply because they exhausted themselves before ever reaching the decision. It also erodes the body. Chronic mental looping keeps the nervous system in a low-grade stress state. Elevated cortisol, disrupted sleep, that wired but exhausted feeling so many overthinkers describe at 2 a.m. So what does the psychology say actually works? Externalizing the thought, getting it out of your head and onto paper. A thought that loops endlessly in the mind often collapses the moment it's written down, because writing forces it into a finished sentence instead of an infinite loop. Scheduled worry time. This sounds strange, but it's backed by research, setting aside a specific 15-minute window each day to worry, on purpose, and redirecting intrusive thoughts to that window the rest of the day. It gives the anxious mind permission to stand down because it knows its turn is coming. Behavioral activation. Simply put, action interrupts rumination. The mind that's spinning in place needs a body that moves, a walk, a task, a conversation, anything that shifts attention from the internal loop to the external world. And the deepest shift of all, befriending uncertainty. Not forcing yourself to feel certain, but building tolerance for not knowing. That's the actual skill overthinkers are missing, not more thinking, but more comfort with the unfinished. The overthinking mind isn't broken. It's a smoke detector that's a little too sensitive, built for a world with more real danger in it than the one most of us live in now. You don't need to silence it. You need to teach it when it's actually needed. If this helped untangle something in your own head, hit subscribe, because on this channel, we don't just ask what's going on in there, we ask why. I'm George. This has been George Knows Why. I'll see you in the next one.